Hi everyone, this is teacher Nicholas here, and I'm going to go through the Algebra 1 Day 1 questions, mixed operations of rational numbers. All right, let's jump right into it. So for question 1, I have 1 minus 4 times 1 out of 6 minus 0.3 divided by 1/5. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite everything pretty much exactly the same way, but I'm going to change that 0.3 into a fraction, since I'm going to be dividing it by a fraction later, right? It's just going to make it a little bit easier. Okay, let me just rewrite it a little bit here. One out of 5. There we go. Okay, so first let's work out which operation we should do first. Of course, the multiplication and division takes priority over subtraction. And I need to do my operations with the same priority from left to right. So let me do this multiplication first. So I'll rewrite the 1. Second. I'll rewrite the 1. And here I'll need to minus 4 times 1 out of 6. Well, this is just going to be 4 out of 6. Okay, so next I'm going to work on that division right there, but I'm going to change the division into a multiplication of the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1 out of 5 is just going to be 5 out of 1. All right, so moving on, it's 1 minus 4 out of 6 minus, and let's work this out. So right here, you can actually see that since I have two fractions being multiplied, I can check whether or not I can cross simplify. With 3 and 1, there's nothing much to simplify right there. But with 10 and 5, I can divide both numbers by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and well, 5 divided by 5 is just 1. So you can see basically what I end up with is 3 out of 2 times 1. So that's just going to be 3 out of 2. All right, we're almost done here. I have some subtraction to do. 1 minus 4 out of 6. You can imagine 1 as 6 out of 6, right? Since it's one whole. This is just going to be 2 out of 6. Okay. So what's next? I have 2 out of 6 minus 3 out of 2. Let me change 3 out of 2 to have the same denominator as 2 out of 6. So this is going to be 9 out of 6. Now at the very end, after we subtract, we're going to get minus or negative 7 out of 6. And that's my answer. Negative 7 out of 6. There we go. Now I think I'm going to move my workings here a little bit to the left, so I have space for question 2 on the right. So question 2, take a look. I have negative 2 times 1 out of 3 minus 1 out of 4 plus 0.75. Okay, so negative 2 here can be multiplied into every single term that's inside that parentheses, right? We can apply the distributive law right here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take negative 2 multiplied into 1/3. That's going to be negative 2 out of 3. And negative 2 times 1/4, it's going to be plus 2 out of 4. Now for simplicity's sake, let me just rewrite 0.75 as 3/4, right? Rewriting it as a fraction. Okay, so what will I have next? I'll need to add all of these up here. So let's figure out a lowest common denominator that I could use. 3, 4, and 4, well, the common denominator is going to be 12, right? So here, let's multiply this by 4, these by 3 here, so that I can get a common denominator of 12. Okay, so 2 times 4, that's going to be 8. Denominator is 12. Here I have 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 out of 12. And then 3 times 3 is 9. So this is 9 out of 12. All right, what we can do, oh, don't forget the negative sign in front here. What we can do now is to combine all of these terms together. You're going to get 7 out of 12. Okay, as your final answer. Great, so now for question 3, I'm going to clear out the equations that I have right here to make space for that. Okay, taking a look at question 3 right here, we have 1.5 minus 2 out of 5. I prefer to rewrite 1.5 as a mix, as an improper fraction. So that's 15 out of 10 minus 2 out of 5. And here I'm going to multiply by 3 and divide by 1 out of 10. Okay, what I'm going to do right here is to actually solve what's inside the parentheses first. Now, to get a common denominator, I'm going to multiply this by 2 and by 2. So this is going to be 15 out of 10 minus 4 out of 10. Okay, at the end, I'm going to end up with 11 out of 10 multiplied by 3 divided by 1 out of 10. All right, so what we're going to have right here is going to be 11 out of 10 multiplied by 3. That's 33 out of 10. All right, so a division by 1 out of 10 means a multiplication by its reciprocal, 10 out of 1. Now, as you can see here, I can simplify, right? 10 and 10, I can just cross them out and replace them with 1. Our final answer is going to simply be 33. All right, great. Now I'd like to move on. Oh, I guess I don't need this line right here. To question 4. All right, question 4 is going to be 2 out of 7 times 3.5 plus 0.6 divided by a quarter. Okay, so let's work out that 2 out of 7 times 3.5 right there. Well, I can write this as 2 out of 7 times 35 out of 10 plus 0.6 divided by 1 quarter. 0.6, let me rewrite that as 6 out of 10 divided by 1 quarter. Okay, so let's work on this multiplication here. Again, let's check for anything to simplify. 7 and 35, I can divide both by 7 to get 1 and 5 here. 2 and 10, I can divide both by 2 to get 1 and 5. So taking a look here, basically what we have is 1 times 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 is just 1, isn't it? So I'll just write 1 right here. Next, we have this 6 out of 10 divided by a quarter. Again, dividing by a fraction is equal to multiplying by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 quarter is just 4. Okay, so it's basically 1 plus, well, 24 out of 10. Now I can rewrite 24 out of 10 as a decimal here. Simply just write 24, and you can add the decimal point right here. 24 out of 10 is 2.4. Okay, one final step, add 1 to 2.4, we get 3.4. Okay, clearing all this out right here. Let's continue with question 5. So in question 5, I have negative 12 times 5 out of 6 minus 3/4 minus 1.8 minus 5.8. Okay. going to write that out right here. So you can pick which operation that you think is most suitable to be done first, right? What do you think? Right here, we should focus on the parentheses first, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the distributive law right here with negative 12 into each of these terms right here. Now, you'll notice that when I apply them, what I'm going to get is a bracket that has negative 12 times 5 out of 6, okay, in this parentheses right here, and negative 12 times 3 out of 4. Okay, I'll need to write this a little bit clearer. Right, since this is what the distributive law is, you're multiplying that negative 12 with every single term that's inside this parentheses right here. Okay, let's try to simplify. You can see here negative 12 and 6. I can divide both by 6 to get 1 here and negative 2 here. Negative 2. Okay, so I want to write down here that I have negative 10 because it's negative 2 times 5. Okay, what's next? When we look at the second term in the first parentheses, it's negative 12 times 3 out of 4. I can simplify this with dividing by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So be very careful with the signs here, but as you can see, I have negative 10 minus negative 9. All right. And what we can do in this next step is to actually solve the second set of parentheses. It's 1.8 minus 5.8 in there. That should be negative 4. Okay, take a look at what we end up with. Maybe I can rewrite the sign so it's a little clearer. It's negative 10 minus a negative number, you always plus. Okay, we're adding 9. Here, same thing, right? Minus negative 4 is equivalent to plus 4. So what we end up with here after we combine all of this is actually 3. And there we go. That's our answer for question 5. Okay, class, we're going to continue with question 6. Let's dive right in. In question 6, I have negative 3 squared multiplied by 1 out of 6 divided by 5 out of 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is to first solve for the exponent, right? According to our order of operations, we should solve the exponent first. Negative 3 squared is going to be 9. And right here, I have a division by 5 out of 4. Okay, let's work on 9 times 1 out of 6. Well, basically, since 9 is a whole number, it can be expressed as a fraction out of 1. I can try to simplify. Here, 9 and 6, I can divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. What I end up with is 3 out of 1 times 1 out of 2, which gives me 3 out of 2. Next, I want to rewrite that division as a multiplication by the reciprocal. So I'm multiplying 4 out of 5. Okay, so let's try to simplify our multiplication. Here I have 2 and 4. I can actually divide both by 2 to get 1 and 2 respectively. And here I have 3 out of 1 times, well, 2 out of 5. That's going to be 6 out of 5. And that's our answer, 6 out of 5. There we go. Okay, next, moving on to question 7 here. Oh, I have 4 to the power of -2, which means since I have a negative power or a negative exponent, remember, this means that I need to put 4 in the denominator of my fraction to the second power. Okay? Times 8 out of 3 divided by 7 out of 12. All right. So here, let's work out what is 4 squared. That's 16, right? Okay, following this, let's work on 1 out of 16 times 8 out of 3. I can actually simplify by dividing 16 and 8 by 8. So here this becomes 2 and this becomes 1. Take a look at what I end up with. I end up with 1 out of 2 times 1 out of 3. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3, well, that's 6. Okay, since I have a division by a fraction coming up, I'm going to change it to become a multiplication, again, by the reciprocal. All right. Next up, 6 and 12. Let's simplify that. Dividing both by 6, I get 1 and 2 respectively. So it's 1 out of 1 times 2 out of 7. Well, that just means my final answer is 2 out of 7. There we go. Okay, moving on to question 8. I think I'll just continue right down here. All right, for question 8, I have 1 to the power of 5 times 6 plus 0 to the power of 3 times 4. Now, 1 to any power, whether it be the 5th power or any other power at all, is just going to be 1. Because you're imagining 1 multiplied by itself however many times, it's still 1. All right? Times 6 plus. Now, let's work on this. 0 to the 3rd power here. Now, think about 0 multiplied by 0 however many times. It's still going to be 0, right? So in fact, I'm not even going to write that plus 0 anymore. I'm going to straight away write times 4. Okay? Basically, what we're going to have... Oh, sorry about that. I think there's a little bit of a mistake here. This should be plus 0 times 4. All right, so this 0 is right here. That's being multiplied by 4. Let's work on it step by step. 1 times 6, that's 6. And here this is 0 times 4, right? So the order of operations is important here. Since here I have a multiplication, I work it out first to get 0. And I end up with 6 plus 0. And my solution is 6. All right. Following that, I want to go to question 9 now. Now in question 9, I have 4.4 multiplied by 1/5 plus 5.6. Well, let me just rewrite that as a fraction multiplied by 1 out of 5. Okay, in fact, let me also write 4.4 as a fraction just to make the multiplications a little easier. Okay, you can take a look here. I can apply fractions multiplication. It's just going to take a little while longer. What I much prefer to do is to actually try to factorize. You'll notice that both of my terms right here are being multiplied by 1 out of 5. That means I can factorize 1 out of 5 out from both of these to write 44 out of 10 plus 56 out of 10. Now, if I were to actually add this up, I get 100 out of 10, well, which is just 10. So it's 1 out of 5 multiplied by 10. Well, that's 10 divided by 5, which is 2. My answer for question 9 is 2. Okay. Following that, I'm moving on to question 10 here. Now it seems like we have some big exponents to work on here, 99 to the 13th power, 99 to the 12th power. But remember, I can apply the quotient rule right here. Okay? And the quotient rule states that if I have the same base, which I do, it's 99, and there's a division or a quotient happening, I can simply subtract, find the difference of the powers here. So it's 13 minus 12, 99 to the power of 13 minus 12. So let me write the rest of the equation down. Here's what I get. 13 minus 12 is 1. So I just end up with 99 to the power of 1, which is just 99. This is multiplied by 1 out of 11. So let's try to simplify right here. I know that 99 is a whole number. I can write it as a fraction out of 1. Here, 99 and 11, I can simplify both by dividing by 11. Okay, I end up with 9 divided by 3, which simply is going to give me the answer of 3. Okay, let me just rewrite this right here. 9 divided by 3, my answer is 3. So that's about it for our day 1 questions. I'll see you for the day 2 questions. Bye-bye now.